So we're hearing, I mean, there's so much chatter about this, and obviously in Oilers Nation, what else could possibly be the most intense topic of discussion? The thing that is on everybody's mind is this extension, when it's going to get done, and I'm sure you're hearing a million things. It's also one of these things that it's like, I feel like this is the most, lock and key contract situation that exists in the NHL right now. We have been hearing it's going to be something along the lines of 4 years, 16 mil. What are you hearing? What are you hoping for as an Oilers diehard who has a good grasp on the inner workings of not this organization, but hockey, how salary caps work, how team structure works? Like, what do you want?
Listen, 4 makes a lot of sense. And following the logic of that, too, is he would sign this contract for 4 years. He'd be a free agent again at, I believe, 33 years old. So when he's 33 years old and the cap's gone up a whole bunch, he gets to sign one final big, long 7-year ticket. And there you go. He's kind of maximized his earnings at every step. I think a 6-year deal would also make a ton of sense for Connor McDavid. I think committing to the organization a little bit more would send a solid message, and it would quiet any amount of noise. I know there's kind of one of the prevailing thoughts is, he's going to sign for 4 years, not so much to maximize his earnings, because Connor McDavid's going to make more than enough money in his lifetime to not have to worry about stuff like that, but because it puts pressure on the organization. And the reason I've always kind of pushed back on that line of thinking is there's always pressure on the organization as long as he's here. And if you were to ever get to a point, let's say he signs for 6 years, it's $102 million, it's $17 million a season. Let's say in year 4, things have gone really bad and they're not looking like a playoff team. At any point, what I'm saying is Connor McDavid can walk into Stan Bowman's office, knock on the door and say, I'm out. And just like how in this contract negotiation, he gets to write a number and a year, he gets to write on a piece of paper and the Oilers will basically honor it to a T. He can walk into that office at any point in the next 4 to 6 years if things don't go well, or if they do go well and he wins a Stanley Cup or 2 and he goes, I'm ready for something new. He can walk in and say, trade me there. And they will trade him to wherever he wants to go. So the idea that a short-term deal puts more pressure on the front office, I don't fully buy that because I think there's always pressure. There's pressure on all 32 teams to win every year.
Ty, real quick, is that what you mean by pressure on the front office? Like the 4-year deal puts pressure on them because it's like, you better win while I'm here. Okay, yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Right, and then it's, the idea that, then he'd be a free agent at 33, and that's maybe where he'd feel more comfortable to start not ring chasing, but looking somewhere else, and maybe by that point, year 15 of his career, he'd accept that he can't win in Edmonton. I mean, there's so many different ways you can go about this. I also think, 4 years, I do think that's most likely. I also wouldn't be surprised if there's a side of McDavid that goes, I don't want to hear the chatter. Everything we hear about him as a person is that he doesn't like the noise. It's why he doesn't do a lot of media. He doesn't want to be a distraction. He talked about that last week in Calgary. He doesn't want to be having to answer questions about his future. I think signing a 6-year deal, I think it just quiets down a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. It's interesting because, I've been banging the drum of, and I know you're going to hate to hear this, I've been saying he should sign a 1-year deal. Sign a 1-year deal. If you do want to have that, put the pressure on, make the organization prove it. But I also think you're right in that he doesn't necessarily need that. He just wants everyone to leave him the fuck alone so he can play hockey. But while obviously 6 from the media standpoint is better, if he signs 4, people will talk about it for a couple weeks, then they'll shut the fuck up. End of the day, 4 years is 4 years. That is a long time now in the future. It takes him into his 30s. It's got plenty of time for the Oilers with this core. So 4 years, I think, satisfies both him, it satisfies the franchise, and ultimately it will satisfy the fans and the media. Because, you could try to make a story out of that for a couple of weeks, but at the end of the day, 4 years is a long time, man. That is a good deal.
Yeah, and again, whether it's 4 or 6, if the Oilers don't get a goalie at the trade deadline, if they lose in round 2, anything that happens, the conversation every offseason will go back to, they got to keep Connor happy. They got to keep trying to win with Connor McDavid. So that's a good point. Whether it's 4 or 6, those conversations are the exact same. So again, I don't know. I think there is still a lot up in the air. I take Jeff Jackson at his word when he kind of says, we don't know where he's at with this. When Connor kind of says, he hasn't really thought about it all that much, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but I honestly kind of believe that. I do still think there are a bunch of options still out there because I don't think they've really thought about the options all that much.
Yeah.
Ty, as an Oilers fan, and put your fan hat on for a second, Yep. Thank you so much.
Got it.
How does it sound to you? Or I guess like, does it bum you out when he goes, I'm still thinking. I have a lot to think about. Like, obviously you wish it was, no, I'm signing with the Oilers for 8 more years. Like, this isn't even a fucking conversation. And maybe it isn't. Maybe he's just like wanted to relax over the summer. But like, as an Oilers fan, are you like, God damn it, dude, just fucking re-sign?
And like, yes, I would have loved for him to come out in Calgary and be like, I'm signing, we're going to get it done. And I'm sure if he did that, his phone would ring the second it ended, and it'd be Judd, his agent, being like, hey, man, what the fuck did you just say? You said for sure you're signing? Like, you just killed, again, no negotiating power, but I'm sure his agent wouldn't have loved that. Like, he did say he wants to win in Edmonton. He said he doesn't want to be a distraction. Like, I did think there was a little bit of the media outside of Edmonton who really drilled down hard on a couple of quotes that can be spun as anti-Edmonton while not totally looking at the quotes that could be spun as pro-Edmonton. Like, he said he wants to win in Edmonton. I firmly believe that. And you know what? If he didn't want to win in Edmonton, probably would have left a couple of years ago. He might have not even let it get to this point, because there were moments where it was like, all right, they lost in round 2 to the Golden Knights. Are they ever going to get over the hump? Like, he could have left a lot longer ago. And I also think there's stuff behind the scenes, like Jeff Jackson going from being his agent, who he's known since he was a teenager, to taking over the team. Jeff Jackson would have had, an intimate understanding of how Connor McDavid views his career playing out, having been his agent for that long. Does Jeff Jackson put his hand up and be like, I'm going to go run the Edmonton Oilers, if he knows in the back of his head, I also kind of know Connor doesn't really want to be here all that bad? Does Leon sign for 8 years? Do him and his wife buy the amount of real estate that they have in Edmonton over the last number of years and start the bars and the businesses and buy the apartments? Like, I don't think you do that if in the back of your mind you're like, 2 years and I'm kind of gonna
I'm out. And you're so, well, it's funny, it's a double-edged sword, because what I just suggested, we basically saw Sam Bennett do, right? And a few of these guys, and obviously easier coming off a win, but like Sam Bennett was like, yeah, I'm coming back and I'll take a discount. And his agent called and was like, hey, moron, why did you do that? But he was like, because I don't care and I am coming back. So both sides are right. And obviously, to be very clear, I'm with you on your entire analysis of the situation. But I think if, like, let's say you're right, Ty, and he goes, buddy, I told Leon to sign. Jeff's running the team. I own 1,000 bars. I'm obviously saying, if that's in his brain,
Lauren has a full-on franchise in this city at this point.
Like she does.
Then I'm like, just say it, dude. Just go like this. Yo, 8 more years, baby. Like whatever. Like I think it just would have fired up the fan base so much.
Yeah, it would have. I also and to compare it to the Bennett thing, maybe if McDavid was 35 beers deep at whatever bar at Greta in Edmonton after the Oilers win the cup, maybe it's easier for Connor
the pint,
to be like,
dude, at the pint. We got to say the pint,
right?
Yeah.
Connor stone cold sober in Calgary on August 28th, sitting next to Sam Reinhart. It's kind of hard to be like, let's go Edmonton.
Yeah.
That's just not the kind of guy he is, right? But
correct.
That's another reason why I didn't walk away from that press conference really feeling more pulled in any direction, because it's like those were the most Connor McDavid answers ever. Yes. It was middle of the road, like blah.
Exactly. I frankly, I hate those press conferences. I think when there's a player who's up for extension or is a free agent, it's criminal when they have to do this shit, because unless there is a contract with ink dry, pen has been to paper, they're never going to say anything. And it's so annoying when people take all of these different sentences, little lines and little remarks and spin them however they want. It drives me absolutely nuts. And I want to say, I am on record again, that I think that 4x16 type structure is what we're going to see. I think it's going to happen before the end of this month. I do not think we'll hit October without him having a contract. That said, just for conversation purposes, at what point do you, as a fan, as a reasonable fan too, start getting a little nervous if he doesn't have an extension?
Yeah, is there a calendar date?
Like, if we get to December and there's no extension, are you like, Jesus fucking Christ?
If we get to puck drop October 8th and there's no deal, I'm sitting there going, oh shit. He was serious. Yeah. He does want to see how the year plays out. They better go get a goalie. They better be aggressive at the deadline. They better not go 1-5 in October like they do every year, because then the noise is going to get noisier. It puts a unique conversation and it just kind of drops it every 2 weeks in the season where like
Yeah.
if he's not signed by October 8th, then when it's November 15th and the Oilers are inevitably 4-8, it'll be like, are you going to have to trade him if you're out of the playoffs? And when it gets to January, it'll be like, how hard will the Oilers go? Because now they have to walk this unique balance of loading up for McDavid, but recognizing maybe you can't trade all your futures. What if McDavid leaves? Like, it really just puts a weird wrinkle on the whole year, which is why I'm choosing to believe that won't happen.
Yeah, and Ty, to your point, when you said earlier that Connor doesn't like this type of stuff, he doesn't like noise. If he doesn't sign by puck drop, that is him being
Creating
open.
noise, yeah.
No, Chris, I disagree. Not creating noise. It's him accepting the noise because he is so certain that he wants to see how things play out, and that would be terrifying.
Yeah, like what is, and this is why maybe this is like a good little reminder to Connor of how annoying this can be as he watches hundreds of articles get written about his future and all this. Like Connor, this is my plea to him. If you don't sign by the start of the season, what do you think your media scrum, your first game in Toronto is going to be like? The whole fucking city will be there. Like it'll be a disaster. Like you don't want that in Toronto and LA. And Tampa. It'd be a disaster. Connor, just sign the deal.
Ty, we can be terrorists right now. We can do this together. We can team up every single week. We can release some outrageous clip about him not signing, so he eventually sees it so much that he's like, "Fuck this," and signs a deal. This is how we do it. This is our gift.
That's how we get him.
to the city of Edmonton. It's like we're going to get him to sign just by knocking his door down.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing too, like from a pure content perspective, I don't want to have to listen to 31 other fan bases put together their trade proposals. There was the one guy Liam and I were laughing about today. There was like a fan in Tampa Bay who has like a podcast, and he was like, now, would I include Braden Point in the Connor McDavid trade? Well, I think I would. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're thinking about that one?
Yeah.
Like, really debating hard if that's the right move for you to make? I can't do a year of that.